All You Need to Know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the All You Need to Know podcast on Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. We're getting you set for the last trading day of the week. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. The death toll on account of the coronavirus pandemic here in India has quadrupled in less than a month and is now higher than China and in fact the rest of Asia excluding Iran. As many as 4,695 people have now lost their lives to the infection, with new infections rising at a rapid pace daily. As of yesterday, the total number of infected stood at 1.65 lakh here in India, twice the official number declared by China. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast or in fact have been following BloombergQuint.com, you'll know that the Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the plight of migrants trying to get home. The Supreme Court yesterday ordered that no fare should be charged from migrant workers stranded across the country. Rather, the fare should be shared by the states, both originating and receiving, and railways must provide food and water during the journey, according to the top court's order. All of this, remember, has happened after the Supreme Court initially declined to interfere with the government's handling of the issue, which drew criticism. The Financial Stability and Development Council, chaired by the Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, has concluded that the coronavirus pandemic poses a serious threat to the stability of the global financial system, as both its impact and time of recovery are uncertain. The council, comprising financial market regulators and heads of a few government departments, met yesterday to review India's macroeconomic situation at a time when most economists are projecting a sharp economic contraction. Now on to corporate news. Lenders to Jet Airways have received initial interest from at least 5 investors in the 4th round of bidding. UK-based fund CalRock Capital, US-based Imperial Capital, Hyderabad's Turbo Aviation, South American investor Synergy Group and Indian entrepreneur Sanjay Mandavia have all submitted their interest so far. Alphabet Incorporated's Google is considering acquiring a stake in Vodafone Group plc's struggling India business, according to a report by the Financial Times. Google may take a stake of about 5% in Vodafone Idea, though the deliberations are currently at a very early stage. This latest development in India's hotly contested telecom space comes just weeks after the blockbuster Facebook deal for a stake in Jio Platforms. In international news, President Donald Trump said he'll announce new US policies on China today after the Asian country passed a national security law curbing freedom in Hong Kong. His top economic advisor has said that the US would hold Beijing accountable. And the fresh political tension in Hong Kong is reviving fears of capital outflows from one of the world's biggest financial hubs. According to a Bloomberg report, the growing worry is that China's latest intervention will finally undermine confidence in the city's prized legal system. In international markets, US stocks declined as the tensions between the US and China soured investor appetite. The 3 averages declined by between 0.2 and 0.6%. In the Asia-Pacific region, all 3 early risers have started in the red, with the Nikkei 225 in Japan losing as much as 0.7%. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking at the end of the week?
Good morning, Alex, and a happy Friday, listeners. Asia has opened in the red right now, and which is why we're seeing a little bit of weakness in the SGX Nifty futures, which means we could very well see muted open this morning for Indian markets. Now, once again, we start with earnings when it comes to stocks and news. Right at the top, we have CEAT, where its revenues have declined 11% for the 4th quarter. Its net profit declined 19%. Its margins, however, have expanded to 12.7% against 9.2%. Moving on We have Rain Industries, where revenues have declined 9% but profits rose 55%. The company has said tax reversals have aided profit, and inventory-related write-downs of 900 crores in financial 2020 has also been recorded on the company's books. Heidelberg Cement, where we saw revenues decline 6.2% but net profit rose 8.9% year-on-year. In terms of earnings today, we will be watching out for Metropolis Healthcare, Voltas, Symphony, V-Mart Retail, and Lemon Tree. So a lot of mid-caps out there to be keeping an eye on as far as earnings go. Now moving on, in an interesting development, we understand Google is considering buying stake, and that is up to 5% in a Vodafone Idea. The process is at a very early stage, reports Financial Times. Moving on, we have pharma stocks which will be in the spotlight as the government of India has freed the export of paracetamol APIs with immediate effect, according to Bloomberg News. Bajaj Electrical has come up with a COVID-19 impact update where it says supply chains have been put under stress, which has resulted in loss of business and temporary pressure on cash flows, profitability, and margins due to lower collection of receivables, operating expenses, payment obligations towards vendors, and statutory authorities. Most of the vendors of the company have also resumed operations, presently at 30 to 35% capacity, and the company will reduce capital employed in the EPC business. Now, these are just some of the stocks you can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and an even better weekend.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.